Welcome back to What's Next Wall Street. I'm Georgia Alfredas.
And I'm Dave Mathews, pushing buttons today. We've got the latest in AI technology. And to prove it, I head to the CES show to show you what I saw this week.
I'm so excited.
For 2024. Thank you.
I'm super excited. Listen, you can email us at WNWshow@gmail.com or hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street. Plus, you can watch all the shenanigans on our YouTube channel. Yes. WNW Show. Subscribe, hit that alert button so that you're notified as soon as new episodes drop.
SpaceX is making its first launch of what promises to be a very busy year. A Falcon 9 rocket was launched recently from California's Vandenberg Space Force Base, sending 21 Starlink satellites in orbit. Have you seen these when they're in orbit?
No.
It is so cool. My buddy has a ranch out in Healdsburg, and we were out there where it's dark. And you'll see when they spin out, they kind of like get flung out from the Starship. Then they like align themselves in a row. And you can see them like spinning around Earth where they're like, it's like traffic on the 35 or Highway 75 or Highway 5 or the 10. Stuart, why would you do that? Don't take the 10. Take La Cienega.
Dude, where's my... Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, they like... People post videos of these all the time.
I've never seen. Okay, I gotta check.
You can look on YouTube or look on Insta, and you can see like people freaking out, thinking they're aliens, but they're just like a train car. And ultimately, over time, they spread and space out. But he's got the most satellites in orbit right now. It's crazy, and they're reflective. And the astronomers are saying that he needs to paint it black. So I think the Gen 3 or 4 that they're working on are now darker, so they don't reflect as much light. But it is so cool to see this stuff because like. We're humans on Earth putting things in space. How cool is that?
Yeah. Imagine what it's going to be like 100 years from... Well, we'll be living in space 100 years from now.
Hey, by the way.
What?
Jellyfish are aliens.
Okay, so can we go ahead and go finish?
That's what teleprompter guy told me.
He said no, he did not.
He said no, he didn't. Okay. I think so. They're like...
Because they glow in the dark and they're like
luminescent.
Are we going to do an investment show here or are we?
Oh, yeah, we should do that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. But not Elon's satellites are all alike. This launch featured the first 6 of their kind satellites with direct-to-cell capabilities. Calling the DTC move a game changer, SpaceX said this will allow mobile network operators around the world to provide seamless global access to texting, calling, and browsing.
I thought we already had that.
No, it's all cell towers. They're all on the ground.
Oh, okay.
So this is what a lot of people, like MCI, they were doing Microwave Communications, Inc.
Okay.
MCI. Remember MCI commercials, right? Yeah. That was a microwave. That's on the ground. Do you know Sprint telephone calls? Remember pin drop? Sprint stands for Southern Pacific Railroad Internal Network for Telecommunications. Did you know that's an acronym?
I know what an acronym is.
But did you know that
but
was?
I didn't know Sprint was there. I guess I don't know what it was.
So Sprint, you were making phone calls over the fiber optic that went alongside Southern Pacific Railroad tracks. Think about it.
Oh my gosh, it makes perfect sense now.
It makes sense. So you've never been talking to a satellite unless you're on an airplane using GoGo Wireless or now Panasonic. And that talks between the plane and the sky, which the reason why they tell you to turn off your phone in the plane, by the way,
is because we'll make planes crash.
No, that's not it. Think about it. Like, how many times have you landed, especially in Europe 2 decades ago when everyone was carrying those little tiny Nokia phones, like flip phones were in America, but everyone in Europe had Nokia phones. You would land in Europe and you would hear everybody's phones going crazy because all the text messages they would receive. And planes did not go down. The reason why we turn our planes off is the cell phone network, which is ground-based, is designed to operate at max 80, 90 miles per hour. When you're in a plane traveling at 400 to 500 miles an hour, your cell phone registers with too many towers. And it freaks out the cell phone network because cellular, it's on the ground. It was invented by Marty Cooper. I had him autograph one of my cell phones, by the way. I was the first speaker at an event and I introduced Marty and I'm like, Marty, before you go on stage here, we were on stage. I brought Marty's first phone. I would like for him to autograph. And he goes, nobody ever asked me to autograph my baby before. I'm like, well, that's just a missed opportunity. Now I have the only autograph, Marty Cooper. Well, maybe now he's doing that on YouTube for, making extra money on this. But anyway, cell phone towers are on the ground. Satellites.
Okay, but listen, get your weight up. So what? It has to go to every little tower. Come on, what?
But it wasn't designed this way. So this, Elon, look, he's digging tunnels, weird. Electric cars, Cool.
Except for all the callbacks. Go ahead.
Well, recalls are fine. He can do software-based recalls. Callbacks are what you wish you had
what I want.
with your media career.
My agent, you got a callback.
Recalls. He can do it with software. Like anytime like the NTSB says, blah, 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 Tesla's killing children with self-driving, which it is a crappy self-driving system. But they just do a software push. When the doors opened up automatically, that was bad. But that's a software push.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah.
It's just like a bug in the code. But look how crappy your iPhone's getting now because Steve Jobs, ever since he died. What? Why are you giving me that face?
Because I'm not going to be, you know what? Go ahead. Say whatever you want to say. I'm out here.
Oh, you think that your iPhone's going to get weird because Steve Jobs' corpse is going to, look, software.
Please send your emails to Dave Mathews. Okay.
Software is ruling the world. And Elon is pushing the envelope. He's making people pay attention. So
you say all this to say I can now use my phone on the plane. Is that what all this is? Now I can finally use it?
Oh, that's a different. Yeah, for sure. But well, it's not going to work very well because it can't register with the towers, and because the latest 5G LTE, the CDMA stuff that we're using today, it requires a digital connection. And that digital connection means you need a better quality of service from your tower to your phone connection. And that's why like your phone goes to SOS mode because like I can't get a data connection.
Yeah, but if Elon Musk, if we're doing this now, then that means we're going to be able to use our phones. That means it's, Well, remember, this is brand spanking new. So there's only 6 of these satellites that have this access into texting, calling, and browsing. Now, you typically can't buy into SpaceX. Like people are putting money into it that are, like my buddy Sean, he did Tinder. You know Tinder. I don't know Tinder.
Yeah, I saw you on Tinder.
I don't know Tinder. You ain't gonna ever see me on Tinder. I don't know nothing about Tinder.
I've had that app deleted for years. But Tinder, when he made all that money going public with Match Group and selling into that group, and he like started buying SpaceX stock. So good on you. And think about what SpaceX done to supplant NASA. And NASA spent so much money to get a satellite in space. And the space shuttle was great because it's reusable, but the solid rocket boosters weren't reusable. And Elon's like, oh no, we're making our rocket boosters land themselves on the ground like ballerinas do dance. Unbelievable. So you can buy into SpaceX stock by buying ARK Venture Fund.
Yeah.
Google and Fidelity, because Google and Fidelity both invested, Georgia, $1 billion each in SpaceX.
So that means I can get in. I mean, I can't get in, but I can get in by way.
You can get in that way, by proxy, yeah.
Okay.
Unless you've, created Tinder or something, you can get in that way.
I told you I never used Tinder.
It's terrible. It's a cesspool. I tried to get on it a year ago.
Oh, wow. Maybe we should go on with the show then. Okay.
All right. Hey, nobody has used their voice from space on a standard cell phone before. Okay. So this is what's cool. Even Google had a product called Loon, where they were sending balloons up in low orbit, not in space, but below space. I thought that's
what China was doing, was sending balloons over here.
Yeah, that's true. They did that too, like doing some ground penetrating radar.
Hello.
That's another story. We'll save that for Tinder, though. The app is deleted. It's terrible. I'm glad that joke landed, though. If you thought that was funny, like Georgia, send us an email, WNWshow@gmail.com.
Send him an email, okay?
But no one is talking from space on a standard cell phone. The closest thing to this, Apple has a satellite-based messaging service. George, do you have an iPhone 14? I think you do.
I don't know.
The 15?
I don't know.
So when you're off coverage with that phone, you can look at the screen and it'll tell you where to aim your phone to the sky.
Shut up.
And you can send a text message to space, just a text message. And Apple said that last fall, they're giving another year of this satellite messaging for free. Maybe because it's not used very often.
What the hell am I texting in space?
No. Think about it. It's there when you need it. It works on the iPhone 14 and 15 only when you're out of cell phone coverage. But it prompts you. It says move the phone around to different parts of the sky and to get what's called the correct, it's a look angle. Okay. You have to get your phone aligned with the antenna to see, because it's so far away. Like cell phone towers are everywhere. You see them, like some of them look like trees, some of them are on buildings, some of them are on towers, whatever. But this is only to send one of several emergency messages. So you're just kind of like sending out like a very short code which says play this message back to first responders.
Wow.
So don't think you can send an Insta post or selfie to your friends.
Okay.
Maybe Elon will let us do that, but you can get out of a bind if you get caught in a snowstorm or hiking in a ravine without cell phone coverage. Like several people have successfully done this and used the service. Watch our YouTube show. I'm going to give some links to some of these stories where you can see people that were saved from this service.
My problem would be my battery would be dead.
Oh, that's true. Remember there was like those little crank things you could crank up?
Yes, that's what I would need. That would be the biggest problem I run into.
I just got an adapter from my Makita flashlight that has a USB so I can take my Milwaukee tools. I started with Makita, then I went to Milwaukee.
I know what you're talking
You have Milwaukee tools, don't you?
Okay.
The red
Jared,
tools.
our producer, knows what that.
You either have the yellow tools, which are DeWalt, or the
I've seen those.
red tools, which are Milwaukee.
Okay.
And I got a little adapter that takes my Milwaukee battery and it gives USB-C, USB 2.0, or a light. So.
On your tools?
On my battery.
You're weird. Meanwhile, shares in Rivian fell more than 10% on the first day of trading in 2024. Rivian took a hit after the company reported higher production, but fewer deliveries in the fourth quarter.
Sounds like software issues.
Okay, so Rivian said it produced more than 17,500 vehicles at its plant in Illinois from October through December, over 1,000 more than during the third quarter, but fourth quarter deliveries fell to just under 14,000, a drop of more than 10% from the third quarter. You know, I was looking at a Rivian.
They're beautiful.
They're gorgeous. I love the pickup trucks.
Yeah, the SUV's hot too. The pickup truck has a teleprompter guy would love this. There's a thing you can put your golf bag.
Oh, you can put your little golf bag,
You put your golf bag underneath. But you're right. You can cook. You would take out the golf bag and put in this cooking module, which brings the kitchen sink and a stove.
But he's just like, listen, all some of these electric cars are just having issues, and I know I'm supposed to be like on that wagon, and I was on that wagon. Like I ordered the Hummer. It's never coming. I ordered it 2 years ago. It's just never coming.
The Hummer EV, the crab walking Hummer.
I have a friend who ordered one. They live in DC. They literally emailed her and said, "Hey, you know what? It ain't coming." So she wound up getting like a Raptor or something like that. She wanted a cool, fancy, like a Bronco Raptor, which is really awesome. Nice. But I haven't gotten any emails. You know, before when I was trying to buy a Ford Bronco, they would send me something, say, hey, it's coming. It's coming. I've gotten nothing from Hummer. So I got to move on, Hummer.
Well, okay, so
I got to move on.
What happened with Rivian is the truck, when they first advertised it, it was what, 80,000 or something?
Yeah.
And then now it's up to 114 or something, 120.
There's too many other cars at that price. When you get to that price range, I got to get a Porsche.
And Tesla, seriously, they had a sub $30,000 Tesla, but you couldn't get it online.
Yeah.
You had to go into the store and get it. And it was like, by then they're like, oh, you want wheels?
That's right.
Oh,
so I think,
you want wheels?
Exactly. So I think that's what's happening.
You don't need wheels.
Hello. But I think that's what's happening with Hummer. So I ordered it. And it was one of the cheaper, it was like $80,000. And I see them, I've seen like 3 of them in all of Dallas, and I know which colors they are. Somebody in my neighborhood got them a cool blue, and I see it all the time. And I'm like, ew. So what I think they're doing is saying, listen, because I saw a guy who works he owns this dealership. I saw him, and he's like, he had this white Hummer. I go over and I'm like, how did you get this truck? And he's like, I sell them. I'll sell this to you for $200,000.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what?
This is happening in my Porsche market, too.
What the hell?
My church. My church of Porsches.
That is blasphemous.
Yeah.
Actually.
No, it's my religion, Georgia.
Wow. Again, blasphemous.
I identify as an air-cooled 911.
Pitiful. You know, we should probably you know what? We start talking and we get on to stuff. Okay, go ahead.
Although it's not in America yet, when I was in Lisbon, Portugal, I saw a Tesla-like showroom for the BYD Chinese electric car company. Georgia, do you know their U8 SUV can do something called a tank turn?
What the hell's a tank turn?
I think, watch this. For those of you watching our show, you can see this. I think it beats Hummer's Electric's crab walk, where you can drive like diagonally with a Hummer.
Yeah.
It literally, Georgia, spins on a dime by turning the left wheels forward and the right wheels in reverse at the same time. Now, don't mind your tire repair guy smiling over there as it rubs off all the rubber.
Because why would you ever need that? Why would you ever need that? Same reason.
You can do a U-turn on a dime.
What? The people behind you be like, what in the world's going on?
You got to check out our YouTube show at WNW.
Show. Oh my gosh. Y'all, it's a new YouTube account.
WNW show.
WNW show. Okay.
On YouTube. You can see this U8 spin
this
around.
Learning curve, man.
I wanted you to get this crab walking Hummer. That's
I want to
cool.
get it too, but it's just taking forever.
I was at a car show 2 years ago and I saw the electric Hummers, and they're cool looking. They're huge.
I love it.
They have target tops and a sunroof.
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
I would
crazy.
love it, but who's spending that much money on a truck? You crazy? I got kids.
And I bought a Tesla Model 3 a year ago, just about to the day we record this, when everyone was hating on Elon right after he bought Twitter. And like, for you to like discount the cars because people hate Elon, and he just had his numbers going up as well. But BYD is selling more cars because they're selling internationally, but not in the US yet. So it'll be interesting to see if BYD makes it to America. Hey, Fidelity is marking their value of X shares, speaking of Elon, to 70% down. After Musk's takeover. The investment firm decreased its valuation of X by more than 10% just in November, according to a recent filing. The social media company faced multiple scandals at the end of 2023, including Elon Musk appearing to endorse a post promoting an anti-Semitic conspiracy, which led to major companies like Disney that we talked about a lot last week. So you want to watch that show, pulling ad money from the platform. Now, to which Elon Musk replied, what do you say, Georgia?
Go F yourself.
He goes, if you're going to blackmail me because of money, go F yourself. So let that sink in. Now, those of you watching the YouTube show, What's Next Wall Street show channel, get a little Easter egg with that story.
See, that's why people like Elon, though. Listen, as long as it's not somebody making decisions for my kids and my life, you know, I don't mind if you're like, F you, and, you know, this is a man who runs a company, do you? I actually like it, you know? Speaking of kids and ad money, though, social media companies are cashing in big on youth and ad revenue. According to a recent study, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, X, and YouTube collectively made nearly $11 billion in ad revenue from U.S. kids under 18 in 2022. Now, even though these platforms claim they can self-regulate to reduce harm to kids, researchers say the study suggests the companies earn so much money from kids that they continue to delay meaningful steps to protect these kids. Now, I know everybody hates government regulation. However, when it comes to protecting our kids from social media, I think we kind of need it.
Yeah, this when you have the inventor of the iPhone, the team quitting Apple and saying like, we need things to help get people off this addiction. Like you get those little endorphin hits. You get like the buzzes of instant gratification. It's the fast food of the digital generation.
Yeah. And we can't expect a company that's making money off selling ads to the kids to say, you know what, we're not in it to make money. They're in it to make money.
That's right.
So we're going to need the government to be like, hey.
Yeah, last week's tech tip, I go into this where if you're getting something for free, you're the customer. So watch about 20 minutes into last week's show and you can learn about this. You don't want to be the product because you're getting sold.
Say that. Today's pro tip is brought to you by OptionsPlayers.com. Leaps and more, specifically deep in the money leaps, are a powerful tool that many traders and financial advisors utilize. Now, when understood and used correctly, they can mean huge gains with less cash outlay or risk. In a previous episode of What's Next Wall Street, we detailed an Apple trade that compared leaps against commons. The deep in the money leaps outperformed common shares by almost 300% while having little negative impact during the trade. This pro tip is a suggestion to backtest a few case studies comparing leaps and common shares so you can see firsthand how effective this can be. You can also email us at OptionsPlayers.com with any requests to compare studies so you can be ready for the next opportunity. For more detailed trading info like how to become a more informed trader with a tailored trade plan, head over to OptionsPlayers.com where you can learn the fundamentals and beyond.
And this is the part of the show where that's us, get to hear from you. That's you. You can always hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street, comment on our YouTube page, or email us at wnwshow@gmail.com, which, Georgia, did you know that's also the name of our YouTube channel where you can watch what we're talking about?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Hey, this next email comes to us from OptionsPlayers website chat.
Okay.
Jim F. from Rochester, New York asks, how does the market typically behave during a war or global conflict?
Good
Looks
question.
like no shortage of wars in this year.
Or conflict.
Right? Are there particular sectors that perform better than others or at least are safer? What are Greg's thoughts here? Can we invest in Dick Cheney's companies, Greg?
What do the stocks do during conflicts or war? There's one word for this: uncertainty. Okay, we don't know what's going to happen, so you get this volatility. People want to be safe. They don't want uncertainty in their investments, so they might move them from higher risk investments or even stock, and then place them into bonds, treasuries, or real estate, or something like that. So you have a rotation in where people are betting, right? Or not betting or investing, sorry. So that you normally see a quick drop in the prices. This could be like, say, after an attack on Pearl Harbor, we're not at war, but we think we're going to be at war. The stock market dropped pretty low because it was uncertain. The same way goes with everything. There's an uncertainty, it drops. It doesn't have to be a war or a conflict, but a lot of times you'll notice a larger terrorist attack or something like that. Even the market might go down. Just know it's uncertainty that drives it, and then the money flowing somewhere else, right? It is what it is. But then you have to think of what's a conflict or World War II. If we're going into World War II, everything changes. Now everyone's going to be making, for the war machine rather than, making stuff, to make your little kids' toy talk. They're going to be a weapons manufacturer now. So there you go. Now, sectors, of course. The ones that make war machines, Boeing and Northrop and all them. But the thing is you need to be in them already. Okay. It's a fact. We are a nation built on war, whether you want to hear that or not. I am a retired 20 plus years in the military. I can tell you we like our war, and it's going to continue to happen because the United States is funded by that. A lot of jobs are off of that. So it not has to be war, but the military complex, I guess you could say. So you should have something in there for that, but I wouldn't say try to bet on a war. Like I'm going to try to make money off of a conflict or something. I would just be safe. Like if something happened and there was a conflict, I might not sell it and move my money, but I would probably collar it just to be sure that nothing happens to it. But yeah, normally it goes down and it usually recovers quite quick, like in a month or so. There's plenty of charts out there, say after Pearl Harbor, it dropped 5%. I don't know what it was, probably like 4%. And then in 82 days, it was recovered. Or after this, it happened, so on and so on. It's all out there. Someone's already done all the math or all the research. But I would just say it's just uncertainty. So either stick with your long-term goals if you're younger. If you're older, I would be more the protective route. Okay, so put a collar on it, move the money to a more stable, I guess, vehicle of investment. Okay, just everybody's different, but that's it. The uncertainty is what's going to get you. And if you need the money for living because you're elderly, you probably want that safe. If you're young and the stock market could go down, but you still have 40 years for it to recover, then, just leave it there.
Thank you, Greg. Chad in Glendive, Montana writes, I've got a 401k. What's the maximum I can contribute to my IRA? So I had to consult my CPA on this question because I wanted to know. She says if your AGI, that's your adjusted gross income, is too high, you need to consider a backdoor conversion. So I read somewhere that backdoor Roth options might be eliminated, might be going away. So let's refer to Greg Krause. Again, lead instructor at OptionsPlayers.com for this one. For those who don't know, Greg, can you explain what a backdoor conversion is and who could benefit from it and why?
So I don't want to get into a long, like 5-minute discussion about this. It's going to get, I'm going to be really quick about it. To a backdoor conversion or a megadoor conversion, whatever you want to call it, it is taking something in an IRA or 401k and rolling it over to a Roth IRA or Roth 401k. All right. The only reason why you do that now is so you can pay the taxes now, and then when you withdraw, you pay no taxes versus not paying taxes now and paying taxes on your withdrawals later. For example, if I put in $100,000 now and in 60 years it's $1 million, I don't have to pay taxes on that $1 million. But if I put 100K in now and I don't pay taxes on that, and then I wait for the longer term, then I pay $1 million on the withdrawals later, taxes on the $1 million. Kind of get what I'm saying? So the Roth IRA makes you pay now versus later, and it's normally beneficial to you. But you have to understand, this is a lot of variance. Your age, who's going to be your beneficiary of this? There are a lot of things that you need to discuss. And the biggest one is, the only reason why you need to be doing this is if you make more than $240,000 married or about 160 single. So you have money, go hire someone, sit down with you, and then discuss your options for this retirement plan, what works best for you. Okay? That's what you need to do. Now, it'd be different if you didn't have a lot of money or you didn't make enough money, but you can put aside a little bit of money, hire someone hourly to sit down and discuss and go over your exact situation, because age matters. Everything matters in this situation. But normally the backdoor conversions only help high earners, the most high earners, like $1 million plus a year, right?
Thanks, Greg. If you have questions, we've got answers, or maybe Greg does. You can email him at greg@optionsplayers.com. And of course, you can hit us up, WNWshow@gmail.com. And also post your questions and comments on social media. We love responding to those. Yes. Just hit that @ What's Next Wall Street, or find us on our YouTube page at WNW Show. All right, so it's 2024, and the first or second week of January, every year I go to Las Vegas, Nevada, to the Consumer Electronics Show, where hundreds of thousands of people, and I'm not kidding you, that many people go and stand in line. Cabs are a mess, Ubers are impossible to get, but people go because they want to see what technology is dropping. So here is what I saw at CES this week.
So CES 2024 just ended in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's one of my favorite shows. They said 130,000 people are going to be there this year, but I think it was more like 50,000 because the cab lines weren't that long and the restaurants always had availability. But all the nerds were there, and e-mobility was a huge category. This is a bike from Utopia, which has a cell phone modem and, of course, ChatGPT. Now, it would not tell me where my bike was if it was lost, which really sucks. But you could ask GPT for driving directions, or have it tell you stories as you're riding down the block. Now, I don't really understand that. You could also voice control the speed of this thing. So, I think Utopia needs to do a little bit of software upgrades for this. But it was cute to see this little electronic display. By the way, those of you who are watching on YouTube are getting to see all the great visuals of this. Now, my favorite from Al Francais, the French, was ski wheel. No price or availability on this one yet, but I could definitely hurt myself with these two, I guess you could call them skis with wheels that you strap to each of your feet, and you can go up and down hills on these things and lean and carve and twist, and they have a really cool steering mechanism that enables this to work by leaning. The controller is super cool because it mounts between the two squeals and turns it into like a rolling suitcase. So once your battery dies, you'll be able to drag this, X number of pounds contraption home. But it really looked fun to kind of ski down the road on this thing, or maybe off-road a little bit as well. But it definitely will work on cobblestones because it has to, because France has too many of those. All right, on to the next one. This robotic dog category won't die. This is RoboSense, and really, this is like a LiDAR scanning platform, but it was pretty creepy. I think Boston Dynamics created this category. Google bought them, and Google couldn't even own it. They had to sell it. Electrobit had a really cool demo where they had a fake car on the side. They were showing all the modules and all the projects that they do with automotive, and I thought this was clever because it's got a ton of LEDs. Now, the most beautiful flying car was from Xingping Aerot. Now, don't ask me how to spell that. It's a flying car prototype, which will never make it to market, but it had a really cool body design. Speaking of cool body design, Mercedes had their CLA concept class. Now, Mercedes is there every year. They've been there since, maybe a couple decades now, showing stuff off piste or not in the main hall. But this is a beautiful car that looks like a Tesla killer to me. And they have a massive booth in the main hall, and they're showing off all their innovations for autonomous driving, which frankly is better than what the Tesla does. But the CLA concept class has a glass cockpit canopy, beautiful style and design. Now, if you like the Cybertruck, Honda had their version of this. They called the Saloon. And the Saloon was literally looking like a squished Cybertruck coupe, two-door, but it had this massive LCD screen along the face of it. You know, if you have a wraparound monitor for trading, you're going to love the front end of this. Now, I hope that if these things get to be self-driving, they can tell you which one's coming to pick you up. They also had one of the skinniest vehicles there, the Moto Compacto, which was a take on the Moto Compo. And Honda creates this little 60-pound car that, or not a car, but it goes in your car. It's a little motorcycle thing you can drive. And they're $1,000. They're available at the Honda and Acura dealers if you can find them. And it's a way to get from where you park your car to your urban house. Hard to find. Kia was there with their PV5 concept. Now, this car had lounge seating. It had a steering wheel that kind of goes up above into the dash, so you can sit back and chill out while it's autonomously driving you. Now, it is a concept, but it's pretty cool looking. They also had their Concept Easy Swap, which acted like a truck, or the truck bed would come off, and you could put a truck bed with a camper, or even an SUV tail in. Now, they did have a concept for delivery vehicles as well. I think they're going after the Transit Connect and the Sprinter vans, but the idea here was these modules would be loaded with your gear, and you could ship them in and out of the vehicle easily. But Zoox, who you might see driving around San Francisco with their self-driving technology, had pretty much the ugliest self-driving thing. This pod would drive around and maybe like a shuttle bus. Segway is back. You know, it's like they never left. Segway had these really cool electric motorcycles and a Razor competitor. If you know RZR, they're generally made by Polaris and Honda, and they're off-road machines. Now, everybody asked if these were electric, which they weren't. They have pretty big engines, but I guess they did have a hybrid aspect to these as well. If you're into lawn mowing, the Luba 2 wire-free lawnmower climbs an 80% grade, and you don't have to put an electronic leash around your yard like you might have to do for your dog or your mower to keep it in bounds. Pretty cool lawnmower. By the way, I had one of these electric lawnmowers, and I met more people in my neighborhood when I had that than when I mowed the lawn myself. John Deere had such an amazing booth. They just had tractors and all kinds of equipment here. They say with their See and Spray technology, which uses cameras in order to know where to spray, they've saved 8 million gallons of pesticides, which is a good thing because then they won't run into the groundwater and contaminate the earth. We don't want that, I don't think. But this this half-track dual track tractor really got me excited there. Now, Amazon in their booth, they had this creepy little robot for kids called the Moxie. And the Moxie is like a foot tall, and it has a little projector face and cute little hands like something out of Disney Pixar movie. But I'm guessing, you could throw the Alexa technology in here, and instead of talking into a little hockey puck, you can talk into this little robot. Maybe it's growing on me. Maybe it's kind of cute. No word yet on price for that. But a lot of people were excited to talk to robots and AI at this year's CES, and Amazon has to be a part of that. Now, probably a clever thing was palmplug.io. Now, this tracks your hands and gives you haptic feedback. There's little motors in each of these little finger monitors here. And it's a way that you could play saxophone. It could collect data from maybe a pro, and then the sax player could then record his session and then let you download this session. And then as you play your own saxophone, the little haptic motors vibrate and tell you how to do things. Now, it's not just playing instruments. It's really doing anything where you need hand coordination. So be on the lookout for that. Now, Kohler had their most expensive, if you can't afford it, don't ask, waterfall tubs and toilets with, bidets built in, and of course black porcelain because that's still trendy. Maybe not. But the Kohler booth was beautiful. But the most ridiculous thing they had was the e-ink toilet. Now, last year, e-ink was in the BMW booth with their vehicle that could change colors. And now your toilet seat can change colors between white and black. And you got to watch the YouTube video of this if you want to see this happening. For the most ridiculous thing you don't need, and also subcategory, if you have to ask you can't afford it. Keeping the bathroom theme, we've got Colgate with a Hum Kids app. Now, this is super clever because kids need to brush their teeth, and this gamifies it. Now, this has been around for a little while, but this booth also had an AI mirror that you could talk to. Obviously, talking to anything at the show floor was a terrible experience, so I don't have a good example of this. But the mirror allows you to have like a calm-like experience, calm the app. But you could ask it, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? And of course, it's Georgia. Dang it, Georgia. How'd you get that mirror to explain that? But back to the Colgate app here. It's called Hum Kids, and yeah, it's very clever. Now, this is not clever. This is a humanoid CPR robot, and I walked up to it and it started blinking at me. I got really freaked out and had to walk away. And do we really need a lifelike mannequin? I don't know. The team from No Watch, they have a AI tied into ChatGPT, of course, and this lets you kind of build a based upon your heart rate, your O2 level, etc., which the watch all collects. And by the way, it's not a watch, but they do have a watch face for it now. But it puts in these data points, and these data points give you examples of how you should maybe either relax, calm down. You need to calm down. I just listened to a Taylor Swift song to do that. But the No Watch team had a very cool implementation of ChatGPT. I'm going to get one of these watches and wear it because it lasts for a couple weeks, they say. I don't believe that, but it just collects data on your person and is able to give you recommendations to have a better life. And don't we all need that? That should be a goal for 2024. So what's interesting about this is as you're configuring it, the onboarding to set up your life, you have to tell it like what kind of person you are. Do you drink caffeine? Do you do this and that? And all that data goes into the No Watch engine as a way to kind of figure out what it should make recommendations for you to have a better life. Now, the coolest thing I think I found was Augmental. These guys from San Francisco went to Berkeley and MIT. They were super smart dudes. They had something called the Mousepiece. Now, think about that. It sounds like mouthpiece. Well, it is. It is a clear polycarbonate mouthpiece, just like you might use if you had Invisalign. And this thing has a touch-sensitive sensor at the roof of your mouth, a little Bluetooth module on the side of your mouth, and a battery that's human-safe. And if you are mobility challenged, maybe don't have access to hands or your arms even, you can use your tongue to control things. And as you see here, if you're watching the YouTube, it's literally playing chess with your tongue through the human assistance, human factors technology that exists in iOS and on Windows, etc. I really like what they're doing. It's $1,000 today, but you can now have an interface for machines just using your mouth. And I think that's very cool as an enabling technology for people that might not have the ability to use computers. So White Things had a ton of stuff at CES, but my favorite was BeMind. This is a way to keep tabs on your health, your temperature, biometrics. Plus, they had another device that you could urinate on and get information from what's coming out of you. So it's not just what's in you. But they're one to watch. They always have cool things at every CES. Now, this device from Savvy is a food cooking gadget that ultimately has AI for a menu, but it uses electrocution to sear your meat and chili. The items have to be submerged in water, though, to cook. They won a CES Innovation Award, and it uses electricity to cook your food. It seems like it's a legit idea. They say it's very fast, but you do have to submerge things in water. They won an Innovation Award for 2024, so kudos to you guys there. Now, Samsung has a refrigerator with a screen on it. I didn't think that was relevant at all, but it was tied into the SmartThings technology. And it has cameras on the inside to show you what you have in the fridge, how many days like the avocado has been in there, which I guess if you don't know can be kind of gross. But it says like cherry, 1 day left, white cabbage, a day left before it spoils. So it'll move the things up to the top of the list of the refrigerator screen, which, I still find myself thinking it's weird to say your screen would have a refrigerator. But the camera inside can bring some intelligence to the items and maybe which ones to pull out. And I wonder if it tracks how old your eggs are. I think sometimes my eggs get to be too old and non-safe for human consumption. But they also had an AI element for pulling menus in and being able to come up with recipes based upon what the camera sees inside your TV or your screen. This thing does look like a TV on its edge on your refrigerator, which is just odd. And oh, by the way, it has caller ID data that'll pop up on that refrigerator as well, or even the Ring doorbell. And we've got the Airwheel SQ3. It's kids' electronic luggage that they can ride on, and you can chase them all over the concourse. And with that, CES 2024 is over, and I am out of here.
January is for making travel plans for the year. What, just me? Okay, Dave, you can just pick up and go whenever you want. Exactly.
Right after we record this.
But when you have a big old family of 5 like me, you got to wait till the hotel has good prices for suites with kitchens. Otherwise, you'll be spending a gazillion dollars on your little hungry kids. You got to buy plane tickets when they're on sale. You got to purchase ski lift tickets in the summer. Welcome to mom life, buddy. It's not just a TikTok page.
I got some mom on me.
I know, but I digress. Lots of people like me are looking for cool hot spots off the beaten path. Okay, actually, it's probably more people like you looking for cool hot spots off the beaten path and beyond European cities for trips in 2024. You go to Europe all the time, but you'll never guess where Americans want to go. At least this is according to the Hopper travel app. Okay. So Tokyo, Japan, and Seoul, South Korea rank as the number 1 and 2 trending international hotspots next year among U.S.-based travelers. Now, kayak data shows a similar trend, and it's like got these same hotspots. It's really Asia, like all these places in Asia. So people are also liking off the beaten path spots in Europe. I know you love Stockholm, right? Budapest. Yep. Didn't you go to Budapest?
No, but Athens recently, Portugal recently, but haven't been to Budapest.
I said Budapest because I don't even know. Helsinki.
Helsinki, I love.
Have you been? Where else have you been?
Prague is super cool.
You were in Prague last year, weren't you?
2 years ago.
Okay, so those are all on the list. They rank 7th to 10th on Kayak's list of trending destinations abroad. Paris, Rome, London, and Barcelona are. So
I love Barcelona.
I love Barcelona too, but for the last decade, it's seasoned travelers. Like we've been there millions. I haven't been there a million times, like 4 or 5. But they're overcrowded now. They're overpriced. Everybody goes. So who wants to go someplace everybody goes? I'll go again.
I'm going to go to Mexico City next, and also the airport. You'll like this, Easy-E.
Is it Easy-E?
No,
Is that in France?
No, Easy-E is South America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm going to go to Mexico, then Easy-E.
Wow, I like Easy because I'm black and he's a rapper.
He's a rapper, yep.
So here's where I'm going with all of this, Dave. So I know where to stay and what to do when I go to Paris, okay? Or Barcelona or London or Switzerland. But Stockholm, Budapest, wait. Isn't that where the Disney castle is? Is that in Budapest?
France.
Are you sure? No, it's about the Dracula. No, not the Disney. The Dracula castle. Where's that?
I don't know.
I think. Okay. Anyway,
not a Disney princess.
But there's a Disney castle where Disney came up with the Disney son. I think it's Budapest.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right.
Anyway,
we're gonna put the link to that in the show notes.
We got to see that. Anyway, COVID is so far in our rearview mirror that people are ready to explore again. But how will they know where to go and where to stay and what to do? That's why I'm betting on travel and tourism stocks like Booking Holdings, which owns Booking.com, Priceline, Kayak, etc. Or you really can't go wrong with Airbnb.
But Airbnb, just in Dallas, where we shot this show today, Airbnb is getting squoze out of the market. So you can't do short-term rentals with Airbnb in Aspen, San Francisco, New York.
Well, that's because people out there having crazy parties and losing their minds.
Yeah, but it's the hotel commissions, and they're really fighting. The lobbyists and the cities are fighting to get the hotels to get the revenue back.
Yeah.
And Airbnb, I love an Airbnb because, like you were mentioning, you get the kitchen, you get extra rooms.
You get the house, and you get to be in a neighborhood. When you're going to Europe, I want to be where the people are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be in
I was in Spain, in Malaga, and we did an Airbnb in the city. We just dropped right down the city, and the hotels were outside of the city. And the hotel's like, I want the door to open to outside.
Yes.
I don't want to get into an elevator.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, but Airbnb is getting squozing out of cities.
But here's the thing, like in my neighborhood, which is, like a little neighborhood in Frisco, people will try to Airbnb their houses and they're like, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. So people you can't do it if you're in a neighborhood with a homeowners association. So anyway, exploring the final frontier isn't as far away as it seemed just last year. I'm talking space travel, Dave.
What?
If you want to gamble,
no, thank you.
SPCE, Virgin Galactic Holdings, was down last time I looked. So that might be an idea. So do your own research.
Yeah, because you can only be a billionaire that had a credit card processing company company where you took fees from people during COVID.
Well, it's a
to be able to
gamble. I said it's a
afford
gamble.
to go to space.
I mean, it's a gamble, but listen, when I tell you that I really think that these travel stocks are going to go crazy next year, I mean, don't take my advice, but just don't forget who told you. I mean, in the meantime, have you seen this post? This one is from TikTok, but I've seen it everywhere about how the Jetsons really did predict our future.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
My car's not in a suitcase.
Okay, but if you're listening to the podcast, you're going to have to check it out on our YouTube channel. But it shows George Jetson having Zoom meetings with his boss, Jane Jetson, his wife, doing an online class, Elroy having a teledoc session, and George and Jane on FaceTime.
Adorable.
Let me tell you something. The Jetsons premiered in 1962. We weren't even
Do you remember that? Were you born then?
Don't do that. Don't do that. We're the same age. Do your own research. But I'm just saying, I think travel stock is going to be where it's going to, it's going to be a good place to be.
I bought Jets, and Jets was a conglomeration of many airlines, and I bought it right when everyone was just like taking masks off, and except for all the angry people on.
I'm still wearing my mask because I'm not trying to get sick on a plane.
But I'm down $2,000 in that, and I'm not going to sell because I'm traveling. I see the planes are full. They're packed.
Yeah, they're full.
They're full. I had some standby passes for a little bit and lost those. And I was getting kicked off of flights because people were showing up because the seats are all full.
Yeah.
So
we want to get out there. We want to get out there, and we want to just.
I got to ask teleprompter guy or Greg if I should buy more jets.
You're down. Why are you going to buy more?
Because
you think it's going to go up.
Yeah, I think it's going to go up. I believe in you, Georgia. I believe in this tactic here. So I want it to go up. I love traveling, but business travel is not happening. It's only consumer travel that's happening because Zoom has replaced the business meeting, and that sucks. That's why
it doesn't suck. I love it. I'm like, I can't wait till spring break and go, skiing with the kids. I can't wait till the summer and go someplace. My son is going to Paris in a few months, and
but you don't get a deal done with business unless you break bread, and that's why I love being in Vegas this week. Great, breaking bread, drinking at the Chandelier Bar at Cosmopolitan, my favorite hotel. I bet teleprompter guy likes that hotel.
He does love.
Hey, teleprompter guy, they have a drink that's got a berry in it. It's called the buzzberry.
He knows every drink they have.
It makes your tongue buzz.
Ew.
Have you ever had that, teleprompter guy?
Ain't drinking that without his wife. Ain't nobody's tongue buzzing unless I'm there. Okay, so that's number one. Okay, ain't nobody gonna drink no buzzy beer without his wife in the building. Now move along.
I love it. Meet me at Chandelier Bar, teleprompter guy. You and I, we're going out.
It'll be me too. I'll be just
and then we're going to the club afterward. There's a club right outside. We'll have
without me.
Get a couple buzzes going on.
Without me, we don't do that.
Hey, remember, if you've got questions about cocktails or stocktails, we can help you try and answer them. We'd love to hear from you. Hit us up at WNWshow@gmail.com or find us on social media. Just hit that @ sign and then type in What's Next Wall Street, all spelt out.
Absolutely. You can also watch episodes of @WNW Show. I said you don't have to, but you can watch it at WNW Show on YouTube. Yeah. Just type that into the search box or listen on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're trying to build this channel up. It's a fresh one because we want the algorithms to be way gooder. Hit that alert button so you get current trending info as soon as it drops. I'm the hostess with the mostest, Dave Mathews.
I guess I'm the host then. And I'm Georgia Alfredas. See you next time on What's Next Wall Street.